Hello and welcome back to another Artisfy Codecast. So this time we're going to be going through the Artisfy code and replacing a lot of the old data attributes with the new data attributes from the new libraries we just built, including the copy position and copy dimensions libraries and the switch library. So we should be able to simplify the syntax a lot, and hopefully everything's going to work as expected. So I opened up the app.js folder because you remember a couple videos ago we removed this polyfills file because we're actually including a polyfill in the main layout. So if we go into the main layout file, we can see, I think down at the bottom, we have a link to polyfill.io and then the version 2 library. And what this does is whatever browser requests this URL, the server is going to know which browser it is, which features it supports, and which features need to be polyfilled. And so it's a really, really good way of making sure browsers like Internet Explorer, especially the ones that we're going to be supporting like Internet Explorer 11 and Internet Explorer Edge, are going to support the features that we want to use. Whereas something like Chrome doesn't need to be polyfilled as much, but you might still need like a polyfill or two to get the most modern features. Okay, and if you don't know what a polyfill is, all it is it's just it's just some code that is written. It's some code that's supposed to be built into the browser, but instead someone writes it for you and then adds it to the browser's native functionality for you. Okay, so I delete that file, and now if I refresh this page, everything is working, but when I click on a widget item, for some reason I'm getting this error here where classless is undefined, and I think that's because element here, element is not an element. Okay, so I want to see what's going on here because we should be using all of the old code here. So I'm not sure exactly why this would be happening. So I guess it might be because did we change? Huh. Okay, I'm not sure why this is happening. So let's go into here and let's see where is this being called from. So on click, okay, got it. So here we change this to the new function where we're passing in the element and the selector as part of an object, and then we also have this argument called include current current element, and I think this isn't working because we haven't updated our DOM utils. So what we can do here is open up DOM utils, and let's just get our most up-to-date one. And what I should do actually is, I don't know, include these as like NPM libraries or something. I'm not really sure what the best way to do it is. Like if I want to keep a library separate from the main code, but I don't want to publish it publicly, but I want to update it separately. I'm not sure how to do that. So I'll look into that. But for now, we're going to just try this. Okay, so that worked. Oh, so get shift attributes isn't working. Okay, so now we're running into this issue where our old code is breaking because we removed some of the old functions that we don't need anymore. Sorry, one second. Okay, sorry about that. So getting back to the code, we can see here that we're using an old function. So I mean, since the point of this, codecast right now is that we're going to replace the old attributes, why don't we just go ahead and do that? So we don't need this old widget.js library anymore. We can have that stop handling our code, and we can just replace it with our new libraries. So let's go into this, and then let's also go into our data.js file, and we're going to need a copy layout, so we'll include that. And again, this isn't the right way to do it because I want this code to be maintained separately. So maybe I'll end up packaging these up in, npm packages and publishing them, and then I'll be able to install them in my normal app, and then I can update them whenever I need to update them. But for now, this is fine, especially when, they're not 100% yet. There might still be some cases where they, they kind of mess up. So it's a good idea to just kind of have this kind of be a little bit rough for now. And then later down the line, I can, after I've improved them a bunch, I can start doing things the more proper way and have like releases, and 1.0 versions and 1.1 versions. That's not something I've done before, but I think it would be a good idea. Okay, so now here we don't have copy position anymore, but we do have copy layout, and we don't have the widget library anymore, but we do have switch. Okay, so now if we go back here and we refresh, now nothing should happen here, right? Because, and I want to see what is this JavaScript that's having trouble loading. So it looks like the site's still loading for some reason. So let's see what is still loading. Okay, so it looks like it's this CSS file from Fort Awesome. I'm not sure. So these are my like icon fonts. It's loading fine here though. So I'm not sure. Okay. Oh, maybe it's something else. Okay. So maybe it's this. Okay, so let's see where this is. So this is in Switch, and we're looking for Bling. So we'll go into Switch, and oh, did we rewrite Bling a little bit? Yes, because this one has the break in it. So we also have to update this one. So let's go back here. Let's go up a couple levels. Okay, let's go to utils. Sorry, I just want to make sure. I think I do need this helpers, and I do need this parse data attributes. Okay, so let's copy these, and let's actually I think it's a good idea to have a utils folder. So we'll do that, and we'll paste these in there, and we'll also drag DOM utils in there. Okay. And so now we can delete this Bling, and now we'll just go through all of our files and make sure that we have the right path. Okay, so that is that. Copy layout doesn't need to go up a level, so now it's just right out of here. Okay, that looks good. This is inside of utils, and set visibility. Okay, is in there. Again, inside utils. I think I should copy this string. And actually, this code isn't going to work. Yeah. So I'm just going to say, I'm just going to add a to-do here. Make auto sizing text areas work again. Okay. And I add like a bunch of space just so if I go in this file again, I kind of know something's wrong. Like there's something to put in here. Okay. And then let's go in here. Luminous light box. That looks like it might still work. Here, that looks good. That looks good. Inline edit. This is like an in-process file. So this is actually the file that encouraged me to create the input-output library, which I'm currently working on and going to be working on with you over the next few weeks or a month or two. And it's all about how the data is being set in the DOM and how we get the data out of the DOM. And so this like felt pretty cumbersome to me. So yeah, so that's why we have the input-output library now. And then we have this. Yeah, this isn't going to work either. And yeah, this was another reason why I created the output library or the input-output library, is because this stuff was getting to be a lot to keep track of. Basically, it's just like keeping track of the the choices on the timeline for the bundle. So like in each bundle, there's a timeline of events that clients can go through and see like, okay, so like first get client feedback, then start working on the illustration, etc., etc. And you can set different lengths of time for each of those and like a different label for each of those. And this was just trying to keep track of like which label was set, which one should be selected, which one should be displayed and not displayed. And I realized after reading through this again that this could basically be handled with a single class on a parent element, and then just set styles based on that. And so it's like maybe a little extra CSS, but it's so much better than having to read through this JavaScript code. And also, yeah, I mean, it's just very complicated. And I think I was probably very tired when I wrote all of this. Okay, so for now, I'm just going to comment all this out. And I'll just say like to do get this working, or like get inline edit working. Okay, and then we have the switchjs library, and that's just going to be like that and like this. Okay, so let's see what that does for us. Okay, so we'll refresh this page, and we're not getting any errors. And if I click on this, nothing's going to happen because the data attributes aren't set up yet. Okay, so I only have like 10 or 15 more minutes. But we're going to see how much we can get done in that time. So if we go into the main view, which is the bundles view, so that's the displaying this bundle and then this bundle, and this is going to be a different bundle, but for now they're just the same. Let's actually fix that. So let's find the top of the bundle. So it's going to look something like this. And then let's just delete this second bundle, because we're going to be changing so much in the first bundle that we don't want to have to change it in two different places. So let's just change it to one place and then we'll copy it later to like fake out having multiple bundles so we can so we can see how they look together. 1 second. Okay, so I had a little water, so that should help. Okay, so now let's open our switchjs code and we'll just like, have this to refer back to. And we can also open up, sorry, oh no. Oh yeah, that's right. And we can also open up our list of all widgets. So we can have that as a reference too. And let's just go through one widget at a time. So the first thing I want to get triggering is this title. So the single character bundle. So you can see here, we're setting, we have two plugins on this. And let's just copy all this code next to it so we can kind of follow along as we change it. Okay, so this is the original, and this is going to be the new one. So we don't need those classes anymore. These might be a little bit similar, but I'm going to just delete them for now. And then we have that. Okay, so now we're going to have some actions. So we have data switch actions. And part of the reason I reorganized this code to not be using classes is so that I wouldn't have to use these like wild quadrupled namespaced classes. So now I can just call this like bundle name, right? Or like that even. And now we're going to just say, I guess this is activate. And then we're also going to have the backdrop. Sorry, we renamed this too. It's going to be on. And we also made it be in parentheses instead of square brackets. Okay. So that should replace this as well as this. But now we need the position code. So I think we want copy layout, but we might just want position too. Let me just make sure. Nope, we're copying the width too. So we do want this. And so let's put that in here. And something I learned about Pug, which is this templating library, is you can actually put this data attribute on a new line, and then this data attribute on a new line, and then we can close it off like that. So this is a lot easier to read. Okay, so now we need a target for the layout library, and I think what we're going to use, let's look at this. What other classes this has on it? Okay, so it doesn't have a lot, but we're not going to use these anymore. So let's just call it like inline edit underscore bundle name. And I think we can even like shorten it to something like IE bundle name. That might be confused with Internet Explorer though. So maybe like edit bundle name is not bad. It should be like edit container or something though. Could be like form. Could be like the form, because right we have the form right here, so we're just kind of naming the form. That's not bad. I think that's decent. We're going to leave it like that for now. We might come back to it later and change it. Okay, so that's going to be the position target. And then the offsets are going to be 0, 0, and we just want to copy the width, not the height. and then we don't need that last selector as an argument. And then let's go back and look at this. Okay, so the active class, oh, okay, and there's something we need to keep track of here. So if I go back up, there is, I want to like search this in the CSS, and I want to search, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And there's probably like an active class to it. Okay, so yeah, let's go back. Okay, so now we have the custom active class, but the new way that we're handling that is with an attribute. So we say it's like this. Okay, so let's copy this code as an example for us, and let's put this on a new line, and we'll paste that in there. Okay. So now we have the switches, and we called this switch bundle name, and I think we do want it to auto close because we don't have anything here that says it shouldn't. And then the active class, I'm gonna just, or the active name, I'm gonna just call it like inline edit. So the reason why I'm using the custom name here is I want to use this custom name for all the inline edit controls. So if you'll notice here, I use inline edit -- active in the original code, and here I use it again, and if you go down to the next inline edit control, I use it again, and that's so I can, when that class is applied, I will display block this form element, but none of the other form elements. But I can target them all with one CSS selector because I'm using the same class. Now this is going to work a little bit differently. So this is going to add this to the data switched on attribute. But we'll still be able to target it with CSS. Okay. So this is another class that we want to look out for. Oh, jeez. Okay, sorry about that. Sorry about that interruption. So my hard drive ran out of space and the video just stopped recording. So now I cleared off some space and we're back, good to go. So let's get back into the code. So where were we? We were here, and so this is another class we want to look out for, is this inline edit -- active. And I think that's pretty much it. Okay, so there are a few other things in here, inside of this inline edit container, that I want to address, like this wprevent and this trigger, but I'm not going to worry about them right now. Right now, I think we have code. I think we have good enough code that it's going to work. So we'll just go back up to the top. We'll delete this original code, and we do have to quickly check on the CSS. So if we go into, I think it's probably just called bundles. Okay, so it's probably in this one. Okay, so let's look for those classes. So it looks like this one isn't there. Oh, so yeah, I was really stupid with the original widget, and I actually named things like this instead when they were active, but I guess that's not there either. Okay, so let's look for this one. Okay. Oh, that's probably because it's in a different one. So it's probably in this file. Okay. So now, okay, we've got the active class here. And let's look for the other class too, just in case it's here. Okay, I guess it's not. Okay, so I think this might be the only thing we need to take care of is right here. Okay, and the backdrop too. Okay, so let's go up here and let's go back to our pug code and let's go down all the way to our first inline edit component. And so what we're going to get here when this is switched on is it's going to look like this. Data switched on, and then it's going to say inline edit. And remember, this switched on attribute can have multiple space separated attributes. So when we select this, we're going to want to make sure we use the tilde. Okay. So here, I think we kept this, yeah, with a class of inline edit. So we're going to leave that class on it, and we're going to go like that, and then we're going to use the tilde. Okay, perfect. So then we have another active one. I want to see where this is, because we might not need to worry about it yet. Yeah, we don't need to worry about it yet. And that looks a little bit complicated. So I don't know how far we're actually going to get in making changes to this. I mean, right now, I'm just going to work on this for a couple more minutes. But I mean, in general, as far as like replacing the rest of the code, it might require some of the other libraries, the input-output libraries that I'm building. Okay, so now we have this backdrop active one, and we want to do something very similar here as the last one. So we want to do an attribute selector with the tilde, and we want to just say backdrop. And I think that should work. Oh no, it won't, because we didn't create the backdrop component yet. So you can see here we've set it up with the old way, but with the new way we want to say data switches equals, and then we'll do backdrop, and I think we do want it to be auto. But that's the default, so we don't need to specify it. Okay, so that's great. Now, if I refresh this, I check the console, make sure there's no errors. So now if I click this, woohoo, I get it. So that's awesome. There are a couple things real quick I just want to take care of. So let's look for any W dashes. So we got this prevent one, and we have this trigger one. So let's delete this, and these are the two, the bundle name and the backdrop, that we want to prevent. So we're just going to say data switch, and I think it's just stop, and we want to say bundle name and backdrop. So whenever this input is clicked inside of, it's not going to cause the bundle name to close or the backdrop to close. And then for the cancel button, we want to deactivate both of them. So that's weird, I think, because we don't have a stop on this area, so it's going to cause it to close anyways. So it makes me think that maybe there was a prevent on this, but I don't think there was. So I guess we can go into GitHub and switch over to, no, it's not that one, this one. And let's look at our bundles code, and if we go down, yeah, we didn't have a prevent on that. Okay, so I guess we'll just leave that how it is. And then for the trigger, we're going to remove that. And let's space out these a little bit better. Okay, so now we're going to have data switch actions, and we want bundle name, and then we want off, and then for this one we want backdrop, and we want off. So I hope you can see how this new syntax is a lot simpler and easier to understand, and you can just kind of quickly see, you know, what's going to happen to the widget, whereas before you kind of had to look through a bunch of classes, which was a little bit cumbersome. So yeah, so now if we open this up and we click inside of here, it's not going to close. If we click outside of it anywhere, it is going to close. Nope. Okay, what's happening here? Okay, so let's refresh and try clicking that cancel button again. Just make sure it's okay. So it's an issue. Let's fix this and then we'll close down for the night. So this is an issue with our Bling library. And lm in this case failed to execute matches on element. And event context selector what is event context selector? Okay, let's see. What is okay, so it has a matches function. I think that the problem is that I'm passing in the wrong thing into the event context selector. And how does it get this? It gets it as a second argument. So let's see, what is the argument's length here? It's 1. That's strange. So let's look at, I think, let me see, what is it checking here, most likely? This is the inline edit button. Oh, it's got the JS prevent default thing on it, but it also has switch actions. So it could be either one of those. Let's look at our global event handler. I don't think it's this, but just to be sure, let's comment that out. Yeah, okay. So I do think it's now I think it's the switch library. So I guess it might be that. Yeah, it might be this right here. So I have 2 arguments here. Let's go into, okay, we're done with that file. Let's close these for now because everything's, you know, pretty much working. let's go into Bling. I really don't like this on function. This on function makes me just want to use jQuery. But I guess I'll use it for now. So I attach it to all nodes, and it's node on, and I get the event name, so let's click here, and I don't know, it's weird to me that the arguments length console log, or let's say like if I guess let's just console log these all of these arguments. So we'll just do that, and let's refresh and see what comes up. There's a lot of them. There are a lot of them. So I think the toggle mobile layout one is maybe the one causing the issues. But I don't know. Is it? I mean, it would have to be, right, if it's the last one that comes up. So I click that, I click cancel. What is this context? So, okay, I think this is the issue. So the context selector is event.preventDefault, right? So that's the thing that's happening here. So if I just do that, I have that here, and I have that here. And this is not the one that I want. I would rather have this one. But I mean, so if I comment out this one, well, I already commented out that one and it didn't help. So it must be this one. Okay, so let's do that and see what happens. Oh my God. Event prevent default. Well, okay, sometimes maybe the cache doesn't get cleared or something. I don't know. Okay, yeah, so that was it. The cache didn't get cleared. So now it's working, I think. Okay, so now, even though, I want this other one to be the one that is working because it's using event delegation, I do want to understand why this isn't working, because I am under the impression that it should be working. So the issue, I think, is that we're not calling this right. So here we set on equal to add event listener equal to event name, event context selector, and event callback, and it, for each element in the node list, it calls on the element. So I guess what are these? And what is this also? And let's add this back in. Huh. Okay, so it's only happening once. So I have this, wow, this is awful. I have all of these elements with .js-pd on them, and um, the event name. Oh, okay. So, well, let me see. Debugger. I don't know why this is not auto-reloading. Oh, I think, yeah, I didn't set up auto-reloading on that yet. Okay. So does this have a for each? It does. What is this? Is this an array? But okay, so it doesn't have like, or what doesn't does it have this? Oh, cause yeah, cause I I added them all here. Okay, so um, so that's why it has a for each. So I'm doing this for each. Okay, so what is the event name? So let's put this like that and refresh. And we have event callback is undefined, event context selector is equal to the function, and event name is click. So, huh. I don't think this argument matters here, so I don't think it matters if I have like a non-ES6 function and like I'm returning it here, but that also shouldn't matter. Am I overwriting lm somewhere? I don't think so. Event name, event context selector, and event callback. And what are the arguments and the arguments length? Oh, I'm never going to get there. Or is this not even being called? Okay. So the arguments are click, F, and undefined. Oh, it counts undefined. That's what's happening. So it's saying, oh, I have 3 arguments, even though this one's undefined. Um, um, yeah, how do I handle this? So, yeah, so I can just not use this. I cannot use these. I don't know how arguments are going to be handled. I don't know. I guess just to be safe, I'll do like that. And then okay, overwrite function argument And let's say okay, but we're inside of a for each, and then we have a function in here. So I'm worried about the arguments being different inside of there. So that's why I'm defining it out here. I'm not really sure how ES6 functions deal with that. ES6 arrow arguments. Okay, so I don't know if it's going to overwrite the arguments, but I guess we can try it, right? So let's comment this out for now. Let's put those as like that. And then I think we just do apply, right? Apply, okay. And then we'll do the element, I believe, as the first argument, and then arguments as the second argument. Okay, so let's try that. Yeah. And then if I click that, it just works. I'm like so surprised when things just work. So we'll delete that, we'll delete that. If you look at Bling.js and you're like, that's super hacky, I agree with you. It's just nicer to have than a huge library like jQuery, and I feel like I like, understand the code, which is also a nice thing because jQuery is like this big black box to me. Okay, so I just want to make sure that this is being called every time. Okay. Okay, perfect. And I don't know where else I had prevent defaults, but I think there were some elements that had it. This one. Okay, so it's working on that one too. Let's try one more just to make sure. That's the inline that edits stuff, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so yeah, I mean, we tested it twice, so we know it's working on more than one element, so I'm pretty happy about that. I'm now going to delete this code, but at least we know that this node list on function is going to work. In general, I think it's not a good idea to use this because, I mean, we're going to do a for each and we're going to add an event listener to every one of those. I think it's much better to use, something like this where we attach the event listener to the body and then we listen just for, this element. I'm not sure which one's more efficient, but I don't know. From my understanding, I think this one should be more efficient here, but it does climb. So every time something's clicked, it does climb up all the way through the DOM, all the way to the top element. And if you have multiple of these, event delegating functions, like I'm going to have on my page, I'm going to have it probably at least like 8 or 10, right? It's going to climb up all the way to the top multiple times. So yeah, I mean, another nice thing about having this is that I can quickly see like how many times on was called when I click on the page. So like right now, I have, well, that's weird. I have 5 right away. Or is it? No, it's not weird. Because, yeah, no, that's when it's defined. So what I want to know is like how many event delegating functions are called. So let's put the console log there and I'll click. Okay, so 4. That's not too bad. I imagine that's going to get up to like 8 or 9, and I do feel a little bit bad about that, but it's the price you pay, I guess. Okay, so that's all for now. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you taking the time. Hopefully this will get more and more interesting as time goes on, as I get better at doing this. I'm like a little nervous just starting out, recording these videos, and I know I'm not like fully explaining a lot of the libraries and a lot of the code that I'm building in the right way, but I think, the clearer it is to you and the more I can explain it well to, an audience, the clearer it's going to be, for me. So that's what I'm hoping for, and I hope you enjoyed this. Anyways, until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.